this goes from the temporalis fossa to the coronoid process. So in this case, I can select something like this, but this muscle is not only attached to this like external surface. Usually, it's attached also to the internal surface. So sometimes you can do something like this using the X-ray function in Blender. So you can select through the mesh and do something like this. It depends on the anatomy of the species that you are working on. So in this case, I can see that the selection is uh, more or less correct. I'm doing this just for an example, so it's not very accurate maybe. But in this case, I want to select this surface as the insertion. You press submit, and then this is a very difficult muscle because it goes from a very big surface to a very small surface. So I will press the to create this button to create the path, or the, let's say that this is the fiber from the muscle. This is connecting the centroid of the origin to the centroid of the insertion. And you can press also, you can select between two options, the follow path or the direct connection. I will press the start preview to see how this mesh is created. So as you can see, this is a very complex mesh because this is a very difficult muscle. It's not a straight line. So in this case, I prefer to use the direct connection. But even though you can see that it's not like so accurate as I can expect. But what I can do is I will hide the mesh, the original meshes. So I want to keep only the surfaces to for a better visualization. And then you can select the quality of the mesh, the number of subdivisions, and also you can like rotate the vertex to align the mesh to obtain a more like straight lines. So I will select something like this. I will align the line, align the vertex to get more straight lines. But the thing is that here it's not so relevant to obtain a very accurate muscle because everything, the most important process is done in the post process after you define your muscle. So you can use also these options. It depends on the architecture of the muscle that you are using. But let's say that I will generate the mesh as it is. So as you can see, it's not very good result. But this is not so important because usually the muscle is not reconstructed like in the first try. So you can go to the sculpt mode, and here you can use the set of tools, the brushes that offers the software, and you can use, for example, the Dynatopo option. I like to use this one. So you can like use, for example, the draw pencil, or you can use the inflate or deflate pencil. So you can expand, or let's say like you can create more faces, or you can deform the shape of the muscle to obtain a more accurate representation of the mesh. In this case, I'm inflating the mesh like this, so it's not so important. At the end, the volume of the muscle is estimated based on the mesh that you create. So in this case, let's say that I will inflate it like this. You can later use, for example, the smooth brush, for example. At the end, the most important, as I say, is the volume. So okay, this is not covering, as you can see, the process. So I will try to cover it, inflating the mesh in this area, for example, like this. A little bit more to cover that's supposed to be the insertion area, like this. Okay, let's say that is something like this. But here I have another problem, that is I'm assuming that the muscle is filled with the bone is filled with muscle. To solve this, I can use some other modifiers that are available on Blender. For example, the Boolean modifiers. Okay, let's say that this is my final muscle. Okay, let's assume that this is correct. Okay, something like this. Okay, so if I hide the bones, I can see that the muscle is inside the bone, so this is not correct. So what I can do is just go to object mode, and in my mesh, the mesh of the muscle, I can go to add modifier and then add a generate modifier that is called Boolean, and then I can select the other that is in this case will be the mandible, for example this, and then if I hide the mandible, let me see here. For example, with the float option, the solver, I can see that now there is a hole inside the the mesh of that represent the muscle, like this, because this is the space occupied by the bone. And I can do the same, for example, for the sculpt. If I'm not sure, like this, I will hide the sculpt. Okay, as you can see here, I have the same problem because the muscle is inside the cranium, so this is not correct. So I will apply this modifier, and then I will create another one that is another Boolean, and I will select the cranium like this. Usually the solver that works better is the float modifier. Okay. Okay. This is, let's say that this is correct because now the mesh was like separated. I will apply this, but if I pay attention now, I have several meshes. So for example, this is one. I can select this and press select, or I can select everything and then mesh and separate. What is it? Separate by low part. Okay, then I can delete, for example, this. I can select this. Okay, and this. Those are other meshes that are not part of the correct, let's say the muscle, the true muscle. At the end,